Good morning,
Good.
everybody, and a very, very, very warm welcome to Ask the Accountant, episode number 126. The date is the 31st of March, 2025. I almost got that bit wrong. And today, I'm here with my co-host, as always, Mr. Johann Gorey, not from your fancy, amazingly, wonderfully laid out studio, but you're out and about again. Tell us where you are and what you're doing and how was your weekend?
I'm on the move. I am in the LNER First Class Lounge over in Edinburgh Waverley Station because I thought I booked a train for 11 o'clock this morning, so I was going to have time to do this in the studio, grab an Uber, get on the train. Now I booked my train for 10 o'clock, which meant I didn't have time between this and that, so I had to get on with it.
Well, we're glad you're here. We're glad you're here. And look, it worked out last time, right? Does that mean you have
Yeah.
to leave? We never spoke about this, but does that mean you need to leave 10 minutes before?
Nope. I've got half an hour after the show to get the train, so we're fine.
Perfect. Well, let's start with your weekend before we go and let everyone kind of start putting their comments in. How was your weekend, Jan?
Quiet. Didn't really do anything. Like sat and watched TV and stuff. Yeah, no, very uneventful. How was yours?
You know what? I actually there was a moment of it where I just put my phone to one side, didn't pick it up at all, didn't reply to any messages, anything else, and just had that little bit of a decompression mode and just,
Nice.
so it was lovely, absolutely lovely.
That's why it took you so long to reply to my messages.
Yeah. They were all just packing. I remember going to my phone, going, oh, okay. You know, when you look at it, you go, oh, there's so many here, and that's like, and then but now I just got to the point where I was like, you know what, I've done too much, and we'll talk about one of the reasons why I had to put my phone down is because I got to a limit, and we'll talk about that later in the show. I was like, this phone's useless now. All my devices are useless. Can't use my favourite new toy. But talk about that in a moment. We would be nothing without our amazing community. And if you are going to DAS, which we're going to talk about in a moment, then please do come and say hi. I've got a handful of top trump cards to hand out, so come and say hi if you're coming to DAS, and let us know in the comments below if you're coming along to DAS. But as always, Cheryl was there. Good morning to you, Cheryl. Thank you for prompting us. We were there yapping away, talking about gadgets, talking about all sorts. So thank you, Cheryl, for giving us a reminder to go live. And Natasha was next. Natasha, good morning to you. Hopefully you are doing well. Kirsty was next. Good morning, Kirsty. Susanna was there. Good morning, Susanna. I hope you are doing well. And Sam was there. Good morning. Traveling to DAS today. Looking forward to. Oh, excellent. It must be your first DAS, surely, with ICB being one of your first events last year. So you are going to have a big surprise. This is a very different event to the ones in a very positive way. So it's good to see. Dave's there. Good morning, Dave. I've put the camera in the wrong place here. I can't even see my stuff here. Good morning. I hope everyone had a great weekend, and we hope you had a great weekend as well. Dave. Good morning, gent, says Stephanie. Stephanie, hello. Hope you are doing well. With a blue heart. One day we're going to make that green one day. I will be at DAS on day 2, says Dave. Excellent. Looking forward to seeing you on day 2. And same for Susanna. So yeah, awesome. And if you are around, we do want to get a bit of content with everyone as much as we can. We want to get the video back up and running where we do the 20 questions of the top trump cards. So you got 5 cards to guess, yes, no questions, and we're going to do that. We brought it back in one of our last videos and it went down an absolute treat, so we want to start bringing them. We've got a leaderboard as well. There's someone at the top of the leaderboard that needs needs to be dethroned at some point, but we'll see from there. Right, Johan, let's talk about our very first topic, which is the digital accounting show. This year back in Battersea. Battersea is, a really lovely location. Well, Battersea Power Station's a really lovely location. Battersea Park's nice, but Battersea Power Station itself is amazing. If you go into DAS, please, I think you have to arrive at the power station anyway if you come by a tube, right? There's no other option for you.
Yeah.
But please just have a wander around the tube at the power station. It's absolutely amazing. One of the best assumes in the whole world is there as well. So yeah, make sure you get yourself looking at the power station as well. But a short walk from the power station gets you into Battersea Park. Evolution, I want to say, is the name of the tent. I think that's what it's called. If you're asking about your taxi driver or anything to drop you off. Can it get that far? Can it drive down that way? I mean, we'd never.
I mean, let's face it. Just put sensible shoes on, guys. You're going to put so many steps on the step counter, and that's before we get there.
This is also the event that destroyed my bag that time. Remember, so don't bring a rolling bag. Here's me with Matt. I've well and truly overpacked for this event. For saying we're not exhibiting, for saying that literally we're going there for a good walk and get some content, and both of us have got a couple of talks. I way overpacked for this event, but you get yourself into the Evolution tent, and the weather is looking like it's going to be glorious for it, isn't it?
Good.
Which is good and bad for this event, because this was one of the times last time we went was hottest day of the year sort of thing, wasn't it? Like water was
water.
Water was a commodity. Water was a commodity. So do make sure you bring your water bottles with you fully stocked up, maybe 2 for this event, going through from there. And then we're going to arrive at Daz. My first talk is 11 o'clock, I want to say. Early on in the day. I think it's like one of the first talks of the day. We're going to talk about podcasting with Fran and a few others as well. And your talk's first day as well. Do you know roughly what time?
About 4:30. I'm talking about getting all your payments into one place with my friends over at Adfin.
Nice. And couldn't think of a better. Is anyone else on the panel with you? Is it just both of you?
Just me and Tom. That'd be nice.
Perfect. Yeah, that'd be good. Well worth going to see that one. And going from there. And I think Jason Stat's there, so we'll definitely have to go and watch his. I think he's opening and closing the event. So yeah, definitely. Also, I won't be able to see the opening one, obviously, because we're clashing. Thanks for that, Jason. But
I'm sure you'll bring a bigger crowd.
He's got main stage, you know what I mean. I think my stage might even be on that little annex thing. And remember last time everyone forgot that the annex was there, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
I think for third year in, people will definitely know about it, because I think there was a food vendor up there that really got people. Was it coffee vendor or something that really?
Yeah, there was a coffee vendor. There's a huge queue all day. Yeah.
Because I remember the first year, that's where all the startup people were, weren't they? And they were a little bit like, oh no, people are just walking straight past us and going straight into the main event. So, yeah. But I'm sure by the fact that it's year 2, that'll all be sorted. So, Daz, let's quickly go through the community, and then we'll shoot back to you about what your expectations are as well. So, people have said. Susanna says, yeah, plan to come down on Wednesday. I mentioned that. No, Daz, for me, says Stephanie, FOMO is real. Oh, there's going to be a lot going on. There's a vinyl launch party today as well. So yeah, there's a lot going on over at the World of Daz. So yeah, you will be sorely missed. Natasha says, I'm attending Daz for the first time. Oh, amazing, Natasha. Do make sure you say hi and let us know what you're trying to get out of Daz from this one. Juliet says, morning guys, I'll be at Daz both days. Amazing. So do say hello. Be good to see you. Dave says, after missing Engager Labs and Fab, this is my first event for 2025. That's very true, Dave. That's a shocking statement, Dave, but no, you're right. You're going to enjoy that one. Good. Paul Whitehouse says, morning, guys. I'm assuming you're definitely going to be there driving up to Pompey. I mean, what is it, like 20 minutes down the road, Pompey in London? That's practically next door to each other, aren't they? New PC troubles this morning. Oh, got yourself a new PC. Do tell us what you've got.
There's your first mistake. It's not a Mac.
Clive says he's got FOMO. What? You're not just jumping on the plane? I mean, I've heard,
London City Airport. Isn't that really easy?
It's probably quicker than us, right? Like just quick jumps there and off you go. And Paul does say no, Daz, for me. New staff training. Oh, that's fair enough. That's absolutely fair enough. And Curtis says no, Daz, for me in London next week for ICB. Ooh. Do tell us more. Excited to check out the control room and the vinyl party. Looking forward to that. That was the bit that really got me excited about the vinyl. I'm still not sure. I don't remember any tickets left, so maybe I've missed out. I'm not 100% sure if I can make that. But yeah, if you've not heard about the control room, it's absolutely amazing. It's basically where the power station used to have all the buttons, and apparently you can still press the buttons. There's an escape room there as well, because my wife bought me the present for it, so we've not yet to do it yet, but there's a escape room in the in the control room as well. I'm sure Sam will tell us all about it. I'm sure he's knows all about that one. But yeah, the control room is a cool location, and that if there's still opportunity to go to vinyl, I may have to go there. But yeah, Emily, that sounds absolutely amazing. Glad for you to join us. Right, okay. Jan, what are you trying to get out of DAS 2025? What's your agenda for it all? It's very different for us, right? This one.
Yeah. So I'm literally there for day one. I'm speaking with Tom at Adfin in the afternoon. So tomorrow morning it's all about the grid walk. I'm quite looking forward to going from a non-exhibitor kind of point of view, because it's been a while since we've done that, where we've just been attendees and speakers. But I'm also looking at it from a point of view of, does Engage want to be there next year?
Yeah.
Is the buzz good enough? Do we think the crowd is the right crowd for us to do well out? Because ultimately, even the bigger boys, they have to get a return on investment out of these events, and these events aren't cheap. Like, for us to do a Fab and a Caltex Manchester, like 1 day events, 2 day events, that you're looking at £15,000+ all in investment for each event. So we have to be careful that we're picking the right events where we're going to see some kind of return on investment on that. Or would we be better off spending that money on development and getting more users that way? That
100%.
It's a tough call. So I'll be there day one. Marcus is joining me for a few hours on day one, so we can look around and assess it from an engager point of view. But yeah, looking forward to being there and not having to stand on a stand all day or be delivering speaking all day. Just have 1 half-an-hour slot at the end. No podcasting apart from the grid walk in the morning. It'll be a lot more chilled and enjoyable, hopefully.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's the same for us, right? Because, me, should I say, this is the first event in probably 3 years now, is it, that we haven't had some form of stand or something, right? In fact, Dad's last 2 years ago was the last time we have anything like this, right? And even then, I think we did a podcast in the middle.
Yeah, we had loads of speaking and stuff going on.
Yeah, we were speaking all throughout the day, and there was that part. And I'll be completely honest, like, that was one of those ones where we completely messed up the tech, and it's one of those where it's still live, but
we
we're
learned
not
so much.
Yeah, we're not happy with that at all. And I feel really sorry for Jordan, because like he gave up his time to come on this podcast with us to talk through, and yeah, it didn't work out well. But it is going to be nice just to turn up. And for the first time, I went through the agenda, and I was like, you know what, I want to go and see that. You know what I mean? Like, that is a talk that I didn't even know was on the agenda, because I don't get a chance to even look at them anymore. So I want to go there. And look, without getting ourselves into trouble, we had a self-proclaimed ban on ourselves from DAS last year, because and rightly so, they told us that they only want anyone there, like, this, not just for us, but anyone there has to come with a unique angle. And for us, for us, the accountant, to create another unique angle was too much for us. So we couldn't get ourselves to last year's and that's why this time we're gonna do something different with the grid walk. Like, that's what our unique angle is going to be. It's not just purely going to be the grid walk. We're going to do the grid walk. We're going to do the best quality we can, but we're going to get a few interviews here and there as well. That's going to be additional to the grid walk, and we're going to intertwine them into it and stuff like that. We're using a 360 cam for the first time. We're going to try and do something a bit different. So that's kind of our commitment to DAS this year, is a unique grid walk, like never been done before in the asset accountant world, and kind of go from there. So yeah, we'll give it a go. We'll see what it's like. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And not to sit on, like I said, not to stand on state on a stand all day. It's going to be lovely, right? Not sure where our gear is going to go yet, but that's one for another conversation.
Don't get us wrong, we love doing the podcast pit stop stands all day, every day at these events. They are so much fun. But you know how it's nice just to have a bit of change. And yeah, I'm looking forward to a day of going to an event that's there's no pressure.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, so we're going to see what it is. There's a few new vendors there that we definitely want to have a chat to and have the opportunity to chat to them, right? Because again, when we're sat on a stand, we don't always get the opportunity to talk to the vendors. So look forward to it. I'm there both days. John's there's just the one day, but yeah, we're going to see what we can get out of it and enjoy it going forward. So looking forward to DAS 2025. And again, if you are there, shout up, come to us. We've definitely got more time to talk than we normally do. So we'll love to have a little conversation with you. Hey, and we'll have the gear with us. So
Might even have time for a coffee.
Have a coffee or a quick little interview or something like that. Like this is where we get to be a lot more loose about our schedule than we normally are, and we're going to definitely make the most of it and enjoy it, you know, and you know, and have a look at it and see it from there. So looking forward to it, and looking forward to how Daz is going to go. Where did we get to? Clive says, yep, Dublin to Gatwick and train to Victoria in the city by 9 a.m, but not this year. See, that doesn't sound too bad. I mean, my question would be, why to Gatwick? Is there not a Dublin to city? Is that not would that not be easier? Potential. But then even then doesn't matter, because there's only one line that gets to Battersea, and that's the northern, isn't it? So you've got to figure out how to get into the northern line anyway. Yeah, so yeah. All right, cool, Clive, cool. Right, so DAS 2025 is well and truly underway. We've seen some quality photos from it already. As always with the grid walk, we're going to give you some behind the scenes content for it, so you can kind of see what it's like. And then if you do have FOMO like Steph, the FOMO is just going to get worse for you. So, and that's the intention of it, right? Because then hopefully you'll come along to next year's show. Brilliant. All right, so that was Daz, and now I get to run a little banner for Johann's Apology Corner, which is apparently not an apology from Johann, other than something I said wrong. I don't believe that, but Johann, the floor is
Definitely a
yours.
you thing. Look, so it's not an apology corner. Free Agent have made it very clear it's not an apology. It's a minor update that they'd like us to express. But, you know, public service announcement, that's better. So, yeah, I was having a chat with Stu over at Free Agent head office, headquarters, and he gave me some inside knowledge. So I've got it written down, so give me a second so I can do this correctly. Because, you know, we are professionals.
Whoa.
My messages don't live.
This is normally when we do these apologies, we make a hash of the apology and then have to do another apology the next week. That's how we roll. Or is that just
you do? That's just the you effect. Not one for apology corner, but certainly something we'd love to clarify. In recent episodes, Aaron and I have insinuated that the accounts and tax filing tool built into Free Agent is only available to accountants and bookkeepers. This, to a degree, is true. If your client has their account linked to your partner dashboard with Free Agent, they will not have the accounts and tax filing tools available to them. However, if a small business decides to not be associated to an accountant or bookkeeper, they will have the accounts and tax filing tools available to them, so they can file their own accounts and their own tax returns, which, considering the news we got 2 weeks ago that Companies House have taken away the accounts filing tool, amazing news. Okay. I have had a chat with Stu as well about this toggle to decide whether we as accountants want to let our clients potentially file their tax returns and accounts. Maybe a client, like I was saying the other week, just wants us to give an eye over it, just to do a quick review. Is it all okay? Because Free Agent's a very, very safe environment. You can't really do much too wrong in Free Agent compared to the other tools on the market. So Stu is going to have a look at developing the don't ask the accountant toggle. So they're going to look at that, which is great. On top of that, he couldn't help but give me some insider knowledge. So Free Agent are going strong on construction at the moment. So Free Agent have always done CIS for subcontractors, but they've just released support for adding CIS contracts and bills via the mobile app, web app, and APIs.
That's big.
They've just added support for bookkeeping entries for creation of and payment of CIS bills. And in the next month or two, we'll be releasing CIS 300s, so the contractor monthly returns. So you can generate those. Payment and deduction statement creation, and the ability to email the payment and deduction statements to subcontractors, which I don't do a lot of. I mean, my team do, but I don't do a lot of construction stuff. But I think that makes Free Agent a very competitive package for construction, does it not?
Oh, yeah.
That
I mean,
really, really steps it up for them.
Yeah, you just talk to Audit Amy, right? Like hashtag Audit Amy. Her biggest pain point at the moment is CIS scheme and how they're going. And look, in our firm, we muddle along. We're pretty confident that what our clients are on are, you know, if not best in class, one of the best in class, and we're happy with what it is. But it's not perfect, and there are still some bits we have to understand. I think one of the advantages Free Agent definitely have is it's a UK-based product that only looks at the UK, right? So CIS is a UK-based issue and only problem for the US. The other solutions out there definitely have really strong CIS like opportunities and you know features and all that sort of stuff. But the problem is, it's a global app in the App Store. So getting the resource to go in and say, right, we're going to add this thing called CIS, where the rest of the world's going, why? Like, we don't need CIS. What's the point in it? Has always been a contentious conversation topic, right? And this is where Free Agent can just go, well, it's our app. Like, we don't have to talk to the rest of the world, right? Like, we can build this in. I think that the mobile bit to me is the bit that's getting me like perking my interest, because it is one of those areas where I constantly have to kind of talk to my clients and go, look, you can't invoice your CIS directly in the app. You're going to have to go to a browser, and you've lost their interest sometimes with some clients, right? The second you mentioned that.
Without being stereotypical and stuff, like the construction industry is the one industry where you really want to be able to do everything on your mobile app, because they're out and about, they're on site all day, every day. They need to be able to go and do quotes on their app. They need to be able to go and do the invoice on the app. They need to be able to settle their CIS subcontractors on the app, because they're not sat in front of their computer at any point during the day. And if they are, it's an evening and weekend thing. So,
and look, Making Tax Digital is going to force a lot of these for the first time, because if I, from a Boffick's point of view, I sat in my ivory tower, I have no issue with Making Tax Digital from a conversion point of view. We don't take clients on who aren't in a digital format, right? But as Apple Core, I mean, I've got underneath here a shoebox full of receipts that a client brings to me on the 6th of April, sometimes brings to me on the 3rd of April, because he forgets that the year end's not even gone yet, right? And that's a contractor, that's a CIS contractor. And I've got to have that awkward conversation with them and say, look, going forward, this won't do, like this won't happen, because a CIS contractor are surely going to get caught. And we're going to come to the spring statement later, but surely going to get caught by MTD, if not next year, the year after, definitely in the 2028, right? Like they are 100%, the whole of the CIS scheme is going to go digital, which actually is quite scary from a from an accountant's point of view, because they're typically your, you know, most they just rely on shoeboxes. That's all they want to do. They just want to do a day's work. They're absolutely exhausted by the end of the day, most of them, and they just want to throw stuff into a box and pass that box to the accountant once a year. That's their way of dealing with it. That's the way they've always dealt with it. Even though, if you think about CIS, are one of the most, like, they're going to one of the ones that are going to benefit the most out of digital, because we're going to have that, you know, that lovely one day, not from now, from day, but when e-invoicing is a proper thing, right? When that does get fully mandated, if you can e-invoice with CIS deductions automatically included, then guess where it's gone, right? And that fear that, oh, you know, have you got all the statements? Are they all correctly? Have you missed someone? All that sort of stuff goes away, because that's that true digital world we kind of need and want. And for the CIS people, it's the best news. We've got to convince them to move over, but it'll be the best news ever for them. And I think not having a mobile app or not being able to do everything on the mobile app is really going to hurt them. And there is workarounds. Like our workaround is they do majority of the work on the app, almost put it into estimate draft form for them, and then we send it off for them with the CIS properly included for them. It's a workaround, and it's not great, and it means we've got to charge them for that privilege to do that.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's all in the app, there's opportunities being out, and especially with this whole idea of having that toggle system. I think that toggle system will be a huge benefit for some people, because we're making tax digital. There is going to be a service offering out there where it is as hands-off as we can possibly make it, where literally our job with the with a wonderful world of people like Xenon and stuff supporting us, where we can do a health check and we can let the client know, look, this is where you're failing on it, or this is where you're missing out on, or this is what you should do better. They make those corrections, or they pay us a small fee to make the corrections for them, and they go off and do it themselves. Like
I literally wrote scheduler services on that exact service this weekend. Well, I say I did, ChatGPT did, but like we're already looking at like, how do we introduce this to the clients through our email? What are our social posts from the team, from the business itself? Scheduler service, like there is a health check bookkeeping review service to be had there for MTD. It's a clients, and free agent having that option to toggle the effect that we'll check it, but ultimately they can file their own. It's a new budget version of a service, and it'll be great.
Yeah, 100%. And again, for people like the CIS clients, making tax is actually a huge benefit for them, because they're going to know where they stand all the way through the year. My client will drop it off on the 6th of April, and they're almost nervous for the next 2 weeks or so, however long it takes me to turn around. If it was digital stuff, I could have it, they would know it all the way through, especially with something like free agent, where it tells them their kind of estimated tax bill as they go along, right? But if it was a digital one, I could tell them within a few days what it is. But when it's manual records, I've got to sit down, normally in front of the telly on one night, going through this thing and all this and the other. And look, they're family friends. That's why I'm doing it, right? I'm not doing it because it's, I'm not doing it to, change the world, Rodney. It is just it's a favor at the end of the day, right? But that person is almost nervous about what that result's going to be, because in their mind, they're hopeful of a refund. That's what they want. But how much is that refund? Is it enough for them to go get a new van for their business? Because they're
it's a savings account, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the summer holiday fund.
Their kids to Florida. It will make or break their year based on what that figure's going to be. And that's based on a shoebox full of records. And best of my will, I will make sure and I will double check it and triple check it and everything else. But how do I know that every transaction's in there? Do you know what I mean? How do I know that? Yeah. And I'll always remember with one of these, I lost a client this time last year because I was like, oh, any chance I can have a CSV file for you from the bank? Because he used to just send his PDF statements to me. And he was like, oh, this is getting too much for me. This is, and went and found someone else because I was asking for CSV files. But if we'd already had this connection and that bank feed was coming through and all that sort of stuff, we would just be able to manage this a lot better for our clients, right? And give them a better experience than this 2 weeks of literally biting their nails, worrying about what this position's going to be, and going from there. So yeah, I think free agent are on to something with this mobile app plus their CIS push as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to pay tribute to free agent's strategy as well, right? So they started off being really, really good for like contractors, like your IT firms and stuff like that. But whenever they release a batch of features, it's very clear. I don't know, I'm sure they do it intentionally, but from a public-facing point of view, it's very clear they've gone, right, let's tackle this industry. What does this industry need? So they nailed contractors. Then they nailed retail. Like they went and got some really good integrations with people like Goodtill and stuff. They worked out what features and functionality they needed on top of what they already have. Make sure they deliver a really comprehensive retail hospitality package. And now they're doing construction in exactly the same way. It's like, right, what do construction firms need to make us a really viable, not a minimum viable, but a viable best-in-class product for them? And they've gone through, they've worked it all out, but we need all these reporting. Actually, let's look at the type of the dynamic of that industry. Probably best we make sure all that functionality works on the app, isn't it? So I think there's a strategy there that a lot of other softwares need to look at and go, that makes sense. Rather than doing a bit of everything for everyone, let's make sure we are best in class functionality for this industry. Now we're going to go and do it this industry. Yeah, all right, like hospitality and retail. That probably leaks into other industries, but the main focus was hospitality and retail. So, yeah, huge hats off to the way they do their development strategy and focus on industries rather than a bit here and a bit there and a bit there, based on VAT or MTD, whatever it is, as the driving force.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I know the others have got some updates for CIS coming through. QuickBooks did a big push for QuickBooks Connect about their CIS updates, and they're definitely going to bring a really good update to it. But without that missing link, without that mobile app, that's going to be the bit that's going to struggle us for us to be able to give it to our smaller clients, right? Those really MTD focused clients. And I know it's in QuickBooks Sole Trader, so that's a positive for us, but it's a real good positive. But again, it's not in the mobile app side. And I think that's going to be a decision factor us accountants are going to have to bring in. And I know Xero definitely doesn't have that functionality in the app as well. And I can't remember if Sage does, or I'm sure someone will tell us if Sage does or not.
Yeah,
I think that mobile
it's very much a case of,
isn't it?
Yeah, and they very much just looked at, this is the functionality we need from a tax point of view. This is how we need to get the filings right. They've not looked at the industry and gone, right, how should we build that to make it work really well for the people that are doing the work? Whereas Free Agent have. Yeah, they've really gone, no, we understand most of these people don't get out of their vans most of the day. They need to be able to do this on an app. Otherwise, it's a non-starter.
Yeah, unless like we've done and made a workaround, and again, it's a workaround, right? And unfortunately,
it's a workaround that drains your resources.
Drains my bit, and also we have to pass that cost on to the client, don't we? I've just realised I forgot to go live on Instagram. So, oops. Hey, it is what it is with the others, but yeah, I'm glad to see this update come in. Fingers crossed that we'll get to see more updates like this coming forward, and I really do hope we do have that opportunity to look at that toggle system, because again, I think with someone like Xenon with you as well, that's a really attractive option for you, isn't it? To have that light touch, go through, put it through from there. You know, I think there's an opportunity there, right? What does the community have to say about that? First of all, Ryanair to Gatwick return is like €40. I was about to say pounds. €40
bargain.
there. Absolute bargain, yeah. I mean, for saying it cost me almost £200 to get from Derby to London, then yeah. Something's not right there, is it? But then again, I bet it's probably more than €40 for him to get from Gatwick to Basel.
Oh yeah.
Which is where it becomes absolutely obscene. Cheryl says, I've had a non-TIS client rock up with their record already. No bank statements, no P6s, so not rushing to make a start. Yeah. It's been a weird. I've had multiple calls last week from clients like, yeah, why haven't you done my tax return yet? I was like, tax
the problem is the ones that hand the information in now, you'll do the tax return in the first couple of weeks of April. Absolutely no problem. By December, they're ringing you saying, I can't believe you didn't remind me to do a tax return, blah, blah, blah. So, what, the one we did 6 months ago?
Exactly. If only there was a way that the portal could tell them it's already done. But yeah, Maybe that's one for another day. Sam says, so do you have a full version of the grid walk from Fab? I loved from Engager, you showed the full tour. We certainly do. And this is actually a bit of a public service announcement.
No, we don't.
Everyone. But for Fab, we do.
What Sam's asking is, like, did we go to every single exhibitor? We didn't. We've got a grid walk that's out there, but Engager was on such a smaller scale, we could go and talk to every single exhibitor, and we could show you the big stage and stuff.
That didn't turn up.
But with Fab and Accountex London and stuff, they're just so big. I mean, Accountex London, we film it over 2 days, and we can still only get a fraction in of everyone that's there. So yeah, it's not in the same precise detail at the bigger events as it was at Engager.
Yeah, but my pushback to that is Martin Brundle never goes to every single team, every single grid walk, right? And we try and figure out how. Go for it.
We're more than happy with the format and what we're doing, and going to talk to the main teams that are maybe they've got a new feature or they've just had an announcement recently. We want to go and catch up with that. But yeah, we won't make it to everybody. Yeah, we never will. But just so where you can find it though, please, if anyone hasn't seen our grid walks yet, head over to the Ask the Accountant YouTube channel and give us a like, give us a subscribe, and start watching some of the grid walks there. That's our big push at the moment. We're trying to make it so that we can get that channel up to what's called monetization level, so that we can start pushing it out from there. And we've got some really cool ideas of when we reach that milestone of how we can get you guys as a community involved more as well. So, you know, we're going to look at opportunities for you to put some votes in and figure out like what our next grid walk's going to involve maybe, or who you want to see at a grid walk, or what do you want to have in the top trumps cards and stuff like that. So please, there's a bit of a push. If you can all go over to that YouTube channel and give us some love, that would be amazing. But that's where you can find it from a Fab point of view if you haven't watched our Fab grid walk. Awesome. Next on the agenda is spring budget update. There wasn't much for us really, was there? We definitely do need to learn that spring budget means not to get too excited. I say excited, and not to get too impactful. It's normally going to be the autumn update that's going to be the one that's going to affect us more. If past experience is anything to learn by. The biggest update though that I definitely saw was the commitment to MTD and an update to the 2028 threshold. So just so everyone's fully aware, 2026 is going to be the 50,000 threshold. 2027 is going to be the 30,000 threshold, and then the new one is 2028 is the 20,000 threshold. They will see 900,000 sole traders and landlords be into the MTD by April 2028 is their estimates to go there. So the 20,000 was definitely news, wasn't it? We weren't like, no one was expecting that to be announced there. So good to have a commitment. I think it was predictable. Like whether they were going to announce it this year or in the budget later in the year, I don't know. But I think the threshold dropping over the time. Like, I have no doubt the following, like next year, we'll hear that it'll be down to 10,000. Right? I think as an industry, we need to accept it's going to encompass everybody at some point, and HMRC and the government are keen to get on with it.
I agree, but I'm getting frustrated with these thresholds. Right? Like you are brand new to the business now. You've got the £1,000 limit before you have to worry about putting it on. This definitely doesn't need a thumbs up here for Apple. Do not thumbs up this. Number two was you've got this now 3,000 one, which we've not talked about on the show, but we'll talk about at some point. There's now a new £3,000 limit for them to worry about. Then there's the 20, 30 or 50 limit. Then there's the £90,000 limit. Do you know what I mean? Like for some businesses out there, those limits, we're supposed to be in the world of growth right at the moment. Growth is supposed to be the big thing for us. We're all supposed to be, and the personal allowance as well. Like, we're supposed to be in the world.
audit limits now just moved again.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
But in a world of growth, having all these limits, for some businesses, they see that limit as a ceiling for them.
yeah,
And we keep putting these these limits into them are just going to stunt the growth of these businesses, right? Because they're going to get to a limit
yeah.
and go, I don't know if it's worth my while
And
going past this limit, whatever the limit is.
I've got a prime example of a client. Well, I've got several. Like, I've got clients that won't cross the £90,000 limit
Yeah.
because they do not want to be VAT registered. I've got a client who, for years, has refused to go past the 10 million limit because he doesn't want to have the hassle of audits and the expense of audits. He's ecstatic because he can now go and increase his turnover by 50% because it's gone up to 15 million. So, but actually, if we didn't have that limit, where could he be now? Like, I know we need to do that. We need limits for audits and where we have thresholds and stuff. I completely understand why, but it's still a ceiling effect for many a business to go, I'm not going to cross that threshold. It's too much pain point for me.
Yeah. And some of it's an education on us, right? As the business advisors and accountants, like we should be doing more to encourage it and explaining that it's not all positive or not all negative. There are positives to each of these thresholds, blah, 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 blah. And it it's almost a PR spin at that point, right? Like they're seeing it as a ceiling because they're either scared about it or Dave down the pub told them don't ever go over that limit, or do you know what I mean? Like we're battling against just human nature, aren't we? Because there's a limit there. Like that because there's a limit, there's a psychological element that, or if I cross that threshold, bad things are going to happen. And we keep adding all these thresholds into them and all these limits into them. Like, I've had 3 PNC calls this week that were sole trader. It took me 15 minutes that call just going through what limits they need to worry about, and so they're aware of it. Do you know what I mean? And most of it's an awareness for them. They may never hit the VAT threshold, but they need to know about it because that's so important that that if they do go past it, that they reach out for help. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like sometimes we just need to pull that band-aid off and just have this one limit and go from there. And let's not have a 1,000, 3,000, 10,000, 20. You know what I mean? Let's not have all these different limits and just make it easier and combine it all. But hey, we're just lowly accountants who just have an opinion on a podcast, don't we? What else we got here? More focus on the statement versus budget announcements. Yeah, completely agree there, Paul. Yeah, child benefit limits, that definitely affects people as well, don't they? And student loan limits now as well. That's another one where people are trying to make sure that threshold kills more business than it helps. Yep, completely stunts the growth of the economy.
And right? You know what though? Some of the politicians know that. So I'm not allowed to go into the detail of conversation, but I had a very interesting conversation with Lord Philip Hammond last May stage about VAT thresholds and what he would have liked to have done and what he was allowed to do. 2 very different things.
But the thing is, we have the data to see that if we did bring that threshold right the way down, and maybe we could then reduce the actual percentage. Like if you took that into account, does it offset enough? Like, is there a sweet spot where everyone can benefit from this coming down? We have the data to look at that. We just don't seem to want to, because I imagine like it's
because it's a tax on small businesses, so the media spin it off in the wrong way.
Exactly. Yeah. When we all know realistically, if we want this growth, if we want to really, fix the country, and we get all political about it, then
just imagine if we slashed that threshold down to say £5,000, £10,000, right? And that meant that you could drop VAT for everything down by 5%. If your food shop was 5% cheaper, is that a good thing? If your power bills are cheaper, if your day-to-day living is 5% cheaper,
100%.
It needs to be done.
Gut feeling is it can't go down as far as 5, but I'm basing it on gut feeling, right? Like they have the figures.
If we drop it by 5%, not down to 5%.
I'm saying my gut feeling can't go down that high, like to 15%. Sorry, that low. But I'm basing it on a gut feeling, right? Like they will have the figures, they will know. You know, they've got amazing data, and I know that, you know, they just need to ask QuickBooks, they just need to ask Xero. Like there's so much great data there. Let's all pull that together and figure that out. And yeah, but we shall see. And James says Dave down the pub strikes again. Exactly. Right, what time are we on? Oh, we've just got enough time to go to let's do an announcement first, and we'll talk about our experiences over the week. So really cool announcement, this one. Caroline went on to LinkedIn to put a post up. Huge announcement alert. Even with her emojis, she's got a rocket ship and a celebration. So I was instantly like, whoa, Caroline, what's going on
I'm
here?
in this.
You've got my attention now. But Caroline goes on to talk about how the Accountex seminar program was launched, blah, 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 which is great to see. But that's not all. The biggest news. For the first time ever in the UK, we're introducing cutting-edge technology that will completely transform your experience. And basically what happens is that they're going to release an app, and every single one of the talks at Accountex, you're going to be able to go onto the app, bring your own headphones with you, and listen in to that talk via your own headphones, going from that. Now, this is absolutely game changing. I'm so excited to have a play around, see what it's like. I'm wondering as well if it's proximity based or not. If we're, you know, at our stage, at our Ask the Accountant, can we cheekily listen into a few of the talks while we're sat there, you know, like in between?
That would be cool.
Yeah, that's where I'm seeing this as an opportunity. And she's trying to get the hashtag "Don't forget your headphones" as one of the things to go forward. So you bring in your own headphones, so what you're comfortable with on your device. You know, I love this. Like this is
This is brilliant.
Yeah, this ticks every box I can think of. You know, especially when you think about for inclusivity and, you know, people maybe with
hygiene.
Yeah, hygiene. Or there's so much there, right? Like this is tick, 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 and another great big tick. So really loving this idea. Proof will be in the pudding how the technology works. Wi-Fi and 5G in that building is not great, so that's going to be something that we're going to have to figure out. Does that work or does that not work? But that's the sort of thing that, you know, that's got to be on the venue, right? The venue's got to sort that infrastructure out to make this work. So excited for this. Yeah, I hope to see this rolling out to more events going forward, right? Because I think this is a really, really cool and impactful announcement. What's your take on it?
I mean, I love it. Like, where were we a couple of weeks ago? Where were we 2 weeks ago? Like,
Fab.
Right. I went to Fab the other week. I'd left my AirPods at home. I literally felt like I've lost a limb. It was awful.
Like, for me now, I have to take 2 sets of. I always have a spare headphones.
I've got my AirPod bags for the train. They're in the bag, but they're too big. I don't like walking around with them. Whereas these, I love it. And to leave them on the bedside cabinet the other day, it's, oh God. But
I suppose you didn't turn the train.
Around with the train to go back. Do you know who I am? But, like, it's great that events provide like these silent disco type headphones, but that's not your set for the day. You get a different set at every session. Hygiene, ear infections, blah blah blah. Like, do you want to be using that set of headphones at the end of the day? Not really. Are they comfortable for you to wear? Are you able to hear things? So, like, my wife's got a ear piercing, which means she can't really use AirPods. So she uses overhead headphones and stuff. So there's all these different considerations. So the fact that Caroline's gone, you know what? We've got the technology. You bring your headphones, we'll bring you the connection. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, does that mean as well that you have the opportunity to listen to it back at a later date? Maybe, possibly. There's all that options, right? That could be there. Yeah. Or even like, I don't know if this is in this this first set of technology, but hopefully later down the line, we've all seen how powerful it is for the AI to be able to give you that transcript there and then. So you can see the words there and then that you can just follow to. So some people, it is that just, you know, with QuickBooks training right network, we do a lot on, you know, accessibility and everything else. And there's a lot of things about how some people from like just getting accessing data, they want to watch it and also read it at the same time. That is a use case for certain people of that's how they get the most out of it. And having that option to, you know, potentially, like, we don't know if this is in this first initiation or not, we don't know, but if there is an option for that to come later down the line, if it's not there from day one, that's huge as well, right? And that gives you the opportunity maybe even to transcribe it yourself and have those notes for yourself, so it's there, and just gives us those options. I think this really opens up some cool opportunities going forward.
A lot of love in the comments for this.
Yeah, I'm so excited by this news. Don't forget your headphones with a blue heart. But yeah, don't forget your headphones. I think there's going to be a cool little thing going forward, right, for Accountex. Don't forget your headphones and go through from there. I can see new headphone swag hitting the stands. Yeah, I mean, QuickBooks did a great swag one day, didn't they, when they had that
a couple of years ago? Yeah,
headphones on there. So yeah, I can definitely see that coming through. Great announcement from Caroline for Accountex, #Accountex. I've often found the hubbub of noise where there is overwhelming. That is true in the Accountex area, right, in that Excel. Like, they're fighting an endless battle. There's just noise everywhere, right? So like you said, bring your own headphones, go in there and just give that opportunity to give that full attention to that person who's talking. Overwhelming, making it difficult to have conversations or concentrate on the talk, says Kirsty. Yeah, completely agree. Stephanie says, from an accessibility perspective, that was a word I was trying to think of, and not inclusivity. It's incredible. Those who are neurodivergent will be able to focus better too. Yeah, there's so many use cases, right? From people hard of hearing to people who just, again, like their learning thing is about,
they need help to tune things out.
Exactly. So yeah, 100% happy that this is such a good part for the industry. I reckon it'll be the like museums log to the official app and click any live stream. So yes, listen anywhere there's Wi-Fi. That's the dream, right? And hopefully that's the case, because we'd said at the beginning of this, right? One thing
is that, or you'll tune into like a live feed by entering a code that they'll put up on the screen at the start, going,
ooh, you
know, like because when you walk around some museums and stuff, you get enter this number and we'll give you the information about what you're looking at. I think it might be more like that rather than being able to listen to it
QR code, maybe you scan the QR code and the races. Yeah, I didn't think of that. That's probably a really good way of thinking about it, isn't it? Which maybe means we've got to run from one side to the other, grab the QR code so we can listen to it at the account and go through from there. Awesome. All right, so we can't do our chat GPT recap, but we'll save that for next week, which is absolutely fine. What we'll quickly do is a public service announcement from the world of KPM, which hopefully is one we're going to get to see at Fab. Although I haven't looked at the list yet.
We're not going to Fab, we're going to DAS.
DAS, sorry. Hopefully they're at DAS. I don't know if they are though, but I can imagine they are.
They were at Fab and we missed them there.
Yeah. Well, they never turn up for the grid walk. If you want to turn up for the grid walk, you know you got to be there.
Get in early.
Yeah, I think they always go for like a breakfast or something pre-evening, don't they? Anyway, they put a public service announcement, delay in new tax year changes relief for 25-26. So we regret to inform you that HMRC's test and approval process for self-assessment tax year 25 has encountered delays during our initial internal testing. We identified errors when submitting forms of computation HMRC's tests. And it goes on. The reason I want to bring this up is this part here. Please note that this delay is not unique to KPM. We have been informed that other software providers are facing similar challenges. This situation is a direct result of the extended HMRC's test and approval timelines. We are in regular contact with HMRC and will provide further updates when we can. So basically, SA 800s will go live 28th of March. but with the submit button disabled. Payroll will go live 1st of April, but with the submit button disabled. SA 900s will go live 4th of April with the submit button disabled. CT will go live on the 6th of April. No issue there. And SA 100 is yet to be decided due to issues with HMRC. So yeah, ouch. I mean, this isn't on Capium by the sounds of it. It looks like it's a HMRC issue, and this definitely is about that conversation we've had a long time, right? About
did they just say you can't file your payroll from the 1st of April?
Payroll go live on the 1st of April with the submit button disabled, so you can push it all.
What if I've got a weekly payroll on the 7th of April?
Well, I'll have to wait.
I've no doubt HMRC are partly to blame for this, but I would also say to Katie that you're saying others are affected. No one else has said anything yet.
Or no one else has decided to put a public service announcement out of it because it's.
I think we need to do some digging at Daz.
They're hopeful.
We need to ask them to provide this.
Yeah. I
didn't realise it impacted payroll.
Yeah.
SA 100, 800, I get it. We all like to be we filed our first tax return on the 6th of April malarkey, but not the end of the world if we don't. However, payroll?
Yeah. I mean, I think there was some other stat comment which provided it was the other day that wouldn't let you get your P60s until last week or something like that, right? And even though, to me, the tax year is not finished. Why shouldn't we even issue in P60 at this point, really, right? Anything could happen to the end of the tax year. But there was a big hoo-ha on social about it. But this is definitely down to the fact that HMRC needs to help vendors out better, right? We've got to be better at this. We've already talked about there's no innovation in payroll because all these changes are coming in. We've got this new P11D issue coming through, which still no one's talking about, but still is going to limit the amount of innovation we're going to get for the next couple of years. SA 100s now not being able to be generated and put through, and to put this with the MTD changes that keep changing and keep moving the goalposts and all that sort of stuff. We've got to protect our vendors better than this, and this will definitely be a learning curve for KPM themselves. I'm sure they've learned and they will hold their hands up and say that they did X, Y, Z wrong or whatever. But also HMRC needs to work with these people better. They've got to be better there. I mean, you guys are a prime example. We've not really talked about it yet, but at some point you're going to be launching your authorization, right? But how much banging against a wall have you had to do to get that to go through, right? Needs to be better.
In HMRC's defence, the reason we've been banging against the wall there was not for the old bit. That was easy. It was the MTD bit. But the main problem was no one else had ever done it. It's been available for 5 years. So even HMRC had to go, no one else is doing that. Can we do that? Is that a thing? If someone turned around to me today and said, Johann, can we do this in Engager? And it's a feature that we did, 3 years ago and no one ever uses and talks about, then I would have to go and double check it. So our vendors are the reason that Engager's had a bit of a tougher time trying to get the MTD bit right, because no one's done it before us. We're the first, so we understand that pain point. But testing for accounts filing and tax filing, surely that's a well-established process by now.
There's always changes, isn't there? I mean, they are saying this is delay in HMR's test and approval process. So maybe KPM were slow to submit their approval, or they didn't realise that HMRC has brought it forward or something. Maybe it's it's both sides that's a problem. What we got here?
In theory, that's only going to get worse because the amount of softwares out there now doing this thing, wanting testing and approval, is increasing, right?
Yeah.
Because
Paul says his software provider hasn't provided the 24-25 update yet. Normally it's a few weeks before April, so he's saying that that's a bit strange. So that's what Paul says. So yeah.
Yeah, I went in and had a look for mine and it wasn't there yet. But I wasn't sure if that was me being a bit preemptive.
Look, should we even be worried about it before the start of the tax year? Is it ever going to be mission critical to have it, within the first week maybe of a tax year? Like, because we want to get this right.
We have already got clients asking for things urgent because they need to apply for mortgages and stuff, and they want to use the last tax year for that.
And then you've got your CIS clients who want their refund, and I get that, right? There's always going to be, but if you just push back and say, look, HMRC is not even opened the door yet properly, like the HMRC's test and approval process, I'm sure they'll understand for a week or something, like. But it's a tricky one, isn't it? It's a tricky one to kind of figure out like how that's going to be. Emily says, I think it's great for the talk. So back to the app situation. I think it's great for the talks. We'll just need to remember to switch off in between versus walking around in a noise cancelled bubble. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Pros and cons.
Pros and cons. That is true. Yeah. Go from there. Right. Well, we are at time. So definitely joining next week because we have a update to ChatGPT. You know what? Today is the 31st of March. So actually today's a really good day for ChatGPT, and we'll explain why tomorrow. Because next week, because we'll have the reset of certain feature that I can't wait to utilize. So we'll talk about that next week. We'll also tell you about what's happening in the world of DAS, and we'll give you a bit of an update from there. So join us this time next week for our next episode of Ask the Accountant. Johann, final bit to you. How's it? You looking forward to the train journey? You got much to do on the train sort of thing?
Plenty of work to be getting on with on the train. Unlike some people, I've not maxed out my ChatGPT allowances, so I've got a bit more work I want to do there. Although I think I've got like 2 or 3 deep researches left, and that's it.
Where did it tell you this actual number? Because I couldn't find it anywhere.
Well, to be fair, mine over the weekend, mine did flag you've only got 5 left for the month. If you want more, upgrade to Pro. But yeah, like got a bit of work to catch on with. So yeah, looking forward to a chilled 4.5 hours on the train to King's Cross. Cool.
Nice one. Well, look forward to seeing you in London. And again, if any of you guys are out there, come and say hi to us. We'll be mooching around at some point. Won't be able to see me because I'll have this massive bag with me apparently, but hopefully we'll find somewhere to put that massive bag. But yeah, come and see us at DAS and enjoy it. And we will see you all. And look, the weather's going to be glorious by the looks of it. So it's going to be good for everyone.
And bring me sunglasses, people.
Yeah. Definitely bring some sunglasses and water. 150 a day return from Sheffield to London. How have you got it for 150? How is yours cheaper from Sheffield on the same train that I'm going on, and you get to go from a thingy up? So, Sam, you need to tell me. You need to tell me these ways in which you do it. So I am very much intrigued. But maybe we'll catch up with one another on the train. Hopefully, see you. Daz says, Juliet, yep. Definitely shout out to everyone who's going to be there and go from there. And thank you very much for the update, says Dave. You are more than welcome, Dave. That is what we are here to do. So we'll see you for the same time, same place next week. Hopefully next week we'll remember to put Instagram on. So sorry, Instagram people, but
maybe you'll remember to go to YouTube this time.
Yeah, we love you there, but come on to the good places. Come on.
Yeah.
There's some really nice. Yeah, we've got some much
long form content.
Long form. You get to have your comments come up like Juliet does here. These are the advantages of YouTube and LinkedIn. So come along from there. Right, everyone. I'm rambling on. We're already too late, and Johan's got a train to catch. So we will see you all next week for another exciting episode of Ask the Accountant. Bye for now.
Goodbye.